So everybody was sending me jobs because they were so mad at the chamber. I can't believe they had to lay off anyone. They didn't have to lay you off. And I was like, and at the time, I think I cried one time because I was like, how am I gonna pay my damn bills?
That's the
I've
only
never
reason
been
you cry.
unemployed.
Yeah.
Well, darling, there's only one God. Darling, there's only...
Welcome to the Dirty Bag Podcast. We got Dallas, Oak Cliff, royalty in the building, Black girl magic personified. She's a VP, Dallas Wings professional women's basketball team. We cut up here. I'm so sorry you had to experience
that was everything. We're going to have to lock that in.
LG, what's going on, girl?
What's up, Cookie? I'm so excited to be here.
Girl, I am so glad to have you here, Miss Keynote, Miss 40 Under 40. You just...
God is good.
2023 did it.
Man, he ran the block for me.
Okay.
The block. It was a tough year, but came back at the end, double down.
Can we talk about the fact, we just gonna get right into it, that like when Black women have these historic years, these milestones, what folks see all the wins.
Yeah.
They don't see the how behind the what.
Yeah.
So when you automatically say it was one of your hardest years, I'm looking like, girl, you getting all these accolades. Hold up.
But see, that's social media though, right?
Oh, come on.
Because people see what we post.
Okay.
So I'm really transparent. See, this is the thing. I do a lot of stories. I don't do a lot of posting. But when people follow me, like my stories, I be like, F today.
Fuck this shit.
It wasn't it. I be telling the truth because
Okay.
see, on social media, now shit, I got to make sure my awards stay there though.
Okay.
Because I need them to see that if you don't see,
Right.
But I be talking about my hard days. I be like, because people see that and they be like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing. You did this, you did this, you did. I'm like, but shit, yesterday, I couldn't get out the bed. Like I did not shower. I was in this motherfucker like, bring me a bottle.
Let's talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this year, so for people that know me, know about literally every struggle, hardship, challenge, and I be running it down. And it be deep. And this past year was deep.
Here's what I find so interesting about that. I had a guest once say that, and she said it, and I didn't realize I was going to go through it. She said she noticed that with all her accomplishments, her highest highs were parallel with some of her lowest lows.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is that what you just...
I'm a spiritual person now. I'm not, not the pastor's wife or nothing. But I believe in God. So I really do. When people say double for your trouble, I'm like... Because I was like, bruh, this year ain't it. Where's 24? Matter of fact, I don't even want 24. Where's 25? Like, I was trying to run through.
Wait a minute. I was just trying to sprint through this shit.
Bruh, I was like, because 23 showed his ass. So 24 going to come in acting a fool. So let's go on and get to 25. Like, I was just over it. And then it was just like, I feel like it was a reminder of reassuring my faith that like, okay, you can go through all this and that doesn't mean it's the end. Because it literally was like the third quarter, really going into the fourth quarter of the year. And then I was getting all these notifications about awards. And I was like, I really ain't did much.
Yeah,
this year.
it looks like the last quarter of the year.
But it was, so my mom passed in February. So like I was chilling this year. I was like working and I was working hard. But a lot of times, again, people see these awards and accolades and they think it's like a overnight sensation. Hell no. People have been working to get the accolades and awards that they have. So really this year, just because of grief and just hardships and just, this year wasn't shit. It just wasn't. And so people still bouncing back from the pandemic. I really didn't do as much as I have done in my full career, but this was just me reaping the benefits of all the seeds that I've sown. That's how I tell people, just keep working hard, keep doing what you do, because it's going to come if you remain consistent. Because this year I was really like chilling. Like I was like, no. I was saying no to a lot of stuff this year just because I could not. Like, I was being real with people. I was like, I can't. Not that I don't want to. Like, I don't have the mental capacity. Like, I'm over here trying to make sure I'm sane because I got to work. Because if I don't work, I don't eat. Like, no one's paying my bills. So I have to go to, 9 to 5, which is not a 9 to 5. It's like, 24/7. But
she don't rest.
He don't sleep. But I was like, I gotta do that. So I did. I put a lot of my personal goals and things that I used to do. I mean, I used to be everywhere on any panel, speaking here, doing this, doing
Talk about that. when people see it, people see that as a necessity to move up.
Oh, yeah.
No. Okay.
No. Sit down sometime. I tell people, sit down. Because when are you learning if all you're doing is talking?
Ooh, park it. Park it.
You just
park it.
Seriously.
Because everybody likes to be the voice.
Bruh, we talked a little bit about this earlier before we started. Like, I like older people, and there's some old fools. Let me be clear.
Yeah, some clowns.
But clowns out there, and they elderly clowns.
However,
I typically I like to be around people that are smarter than me. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I don't want to be the richest person in the room. I don't want to be the most known person in the room, because then how am I going to grow? So we so used to wanting to be heard, wanting to be the keynote, wanting to be the panelist, wanting to be the moderator, want to be the photographer, want to be the damn, sit down.
Don't you want to breathe?
Sit down. Because from that, then I learned, well, where are my growth opportunities? And so this year was my year to grow. Like, I was like, I had to, like, again, for my own sanity.
You were forced to.
I can't, like, you can't pour from an empty cup. And I have done that a lot. Like, ain't nothing in there. I'm just still over here, like, ain't nothing in there. So this year I had to, in that, I learned a lot about myself. I learned about what I wasn't doing right, what opportunities I have ahead of me. And then when opportunities continued to come, when I felt comfortable, then I would say yes.
Okay.
It's right.
How do you decide what's right? Because, I mean, we are out here where everybody wants to, and I'm not going to say everybody. Let me not generalize y'all, even though I'm right.
Most of y'all. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Tell the truth.
People want to be the voice. They want to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
So how would you warn against somebody taking on too many opportunities or rushing to be a part of too many things without doing, as you said, growing, sitting down, making sure it's in alignment?
Know what's important to you. Know what you're about. Most of us, I'm saying this about myself, because at first I said yes to everything, and I didn't even have, and still don't technically have, a personal brand that I was trying to grow. Right. But I think people would ask me and I would say yes. Like, I'm just like, oh, they think I have something to say, I'll do it. Or sometimes it was because, okay, that's going to add more notoriety. I don't know. Like, I would just say yes. And then I was like, this isn't even aligned with what I care about. This isn't like, so then I started saying, well, I can't do it, but I know someone that can, or I used to be that person. I'm going to help you. Like, I would never tell people just no. This year, I'm a damn no person. No, period.
So you just said you would mention, so if you feel like it's not in alignment with you,
you don't have to say.
You pass it on.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's important.
Because everything is not for you. But you got to understand that, and it's okay, because when you let that pass by, then what's for you can come. But you busy doing everything, you're probably going to miss some opportunities that actually align with what's important, because you've been booked and busy. So how could the right thing come along? So, there's been opportunities that I'm just like, yeah, no. But I know someone. But this year I didn't know nobody. I was like, that's not my job. That's yours.
Let's park there, because we definitely talked about trying to be the savior for everybody, being that person trying to build everybody else up. So where is that line you draw between I'm going to help this person out and I'm doing too damn much?
I'm still learning.
Okay.
But again, I think in this year, and I've had a lot of losses. That's, again, for people that know me, know this. Like, my mom passed this year. My brother was murdered in 2019. Let me go back. In 2020, my stepdad passed from COVID. My brother was murdered in 2019. My father passed away unexpectedly. It's been 9 years now, but that was like, I felt like the domino that just went, like, it was just death. So all of my immediate family, except for my sister, is deceased. And I was the person responsible for their burials, for their, like, I'm the baby.
Oh.
But I was the one that took care of
everything. You're the grown
baby.
baby.
I was the first person to go to college, like, all this shit. So, then they think you know everything.
That pressure on that first generation college grad.
Yeah, I mean, I got more than one degree, but I don't know everything. And I ain't got all the money.
Ooh.
Contrary to popular belief.
Man, money. It's so crazy how people assume that money is attached to a degree. That is not how this works.
So, like, it was just a lot going on. So, again, I was everything to everyone and nothing to myself. And so that's why a lot of my growth, frankly, was stunted, because I was just doing everything for everyone. So when people see me now and they're like, wow, you're doing all these things.
Right.
frankly could have been a lot further if I stopped doing everything earlier. So this last year was just like it used to be no, comma, let me still help. Now it's no, period.
Man, that period, the difference between a period and the comma.
It's empowering.
That comma will have you working
harder. Because I could have just went and spoke on a panel. Now I'm over here trying to find the person for you, find their contact, because I really don't know them like that.
You the agent? Negotiate.
Then they want you to still come and support the event. Damn, if I had so.
I gotta buy a ticket. You want me to buy a ticket? You want me to push the event? You want me to sell some tickets? You want me to come help with the
production? And,
you
anyway.
Want me to hold the lights?
So now I still should have just said yes. But again, so that's growth. So now I'm at I had to be sat down, unfortunately, through just life. But now it's kind of a no, and it's period. And I'm okay with that. But I just had this conversation with my best friend today. I still feel guilty. I have learned to say no again because I've given myself boundaries. That was this year, 2024, where it was boundaries. 2023 word, it was boundaries.
Yeah.
And so it was no, period, but then I'll still have guilt. I'll be like, but.
The guilt that comes with boundaries, but how did life change for you when you finally said, okay, this is how it's going to be moving forward? I will not say yes to everything. I'm not doing X, Y, Z. How did things change around you?
Yeah. Well, first, the right things started coming to me.
Okay, come on.
I've never, frankly, pursued any of the things outside of my careers that I aggressively pursued because I aggressively took my ass to school and paid a lot of money. Well, Uncle Sam did. But
what happened was
I still owe them. But the fact is,
that's been going up to glory.
Look, that's Jesus paid
died
down
for the sins.
That ain't got nothing to do with me. Nope. That's between them
at the cross.
That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Cross.
But my career are things that I pursue and that I continue to pour into and to grow and to look for those opportunities. But everything else, it has come to me. And this, I'm not trying to sound cocky. And I probably will, when I start a personal brand, have to go chase things and find opportunities, and hopefully I can afford somebody to help me go find stuff. But I just don't think that things that are intentionally for you are hard.
Oh, wait, that might be a word.
Yeah. I did not say that it's going to come necessarily easy, but I'm just saying, I just think if it's for me, it's for me.
But you also talked about working hard prior to Absolutely. 2023. So there's something to be said for putting in the work, because we are in an era where people are seeing, like you said, social media. Yeah. People seeing folks with all this success, so they want it. Yeah. So they watching everybody else plate, trying to figure out how to get their food to warm up just as fast.
Right. But you got to lay the foundation. So things change when, again, I stop saying yes to everything and start saying, is this aligned with my values? Is it worth my time? Because I feel like this about relationships. I feel like this about work. I feel just in general, we only get 24 hours a day. So why am I wasting my time? So it's just, if it doesn't make sense, I can't. I won't. It ain't even that I can't, I won't.
Yeah.
Because it used to be that I can't. Because I have all these other things. Now it's like, no, I won't.
And that's okay. I think that Black women are expected, because, we always fighting for something, for every little thing. So it's like, how dare you turn down an opportunity? But with everything that you've had going on in your personal life, that's the thing. We never take time to grieve, because we're kind of in the same boat. I lost a lot of my immediate early in life. Yeah. So it taught me to be hyper independent. Yeah. But also I detach from folks too, because I'm so used to the important people leaving. It's like, well, you might not even be here for the long term. So I'm just, I ain't saying nothing wrong. I'm not saying it's okay, y'all. I'm just saying.
You're acknowledging what's going on with you.
That's just what it is.
It is what it is. That's your experience. That's your truth.
Yeah. So when you get forced into, survival mode mentally, you ain't got time. You just got to work. Did you see yourself with the career that you have now? 10 years ago?
No. So I'm a social worker by trade, and childhood, we already talked about it. I'm from South Oak Cliff. Childhood was, actually, I had a very colorful, great childhood, but my parents were functioning drug addicts. I have to say that, R.I.P.
Everybody
Mom
had the
and Daddy.
same damn life.
But yeah, they was out there. But they, they had me older in life, so they had slowed down. But either I was a real smart kid or nosy kid, I don't know. But I already knew they was on some more shit. I was like, y'all, But they had me like in every activity. I had a really good childhood. I can't really complain about that. I tell people I didn't know we were poor till I probably went to college. I was like, damn. Why
does this sound familiar?
So we was poor because they made sure I had what I needed.
Clothes,
and we we was in the hood, so shit. Everybody was poor. So I don't know. I mean, but again, I can't say I had a really good childhood. But my mom had a stroke when I was in the 6th grade, and my mom and dad had just divorced, and so my mom was in a coma for almost 3 months, and they told us she would be in a vegetated state to unplug her. Like that's it. And again, I believe in God. Miraculously, she didn't. She came out of her coma. While my brother was cussing the doctors out. Matter of fact, because they were like, she just sitting up here basically running up a bill. What y'all gonna do? And so my brother was literally cussing the doctors out. My mom came out of her coma and was telling my brother like, bro, you gotta chill. Pretty much.
Yeah, you know damn well I didn't raise you like that.
I was like 10 or so I really didn't know what was going on. I was just like, shit, this is some freaking shit. So some scary shit. But at that point, like you said, I had to become hyper independent really quickly. Like my mom had to learn how to walk, talk, write. She was in a nursing home for a while, but I became essentially almost like another woman of the house. Like we moved in with my grandmother who was also disabled, and so it was the three of us for forever. And then my brother, when he would get out of jail, sometimes he would come back home. But anyway, it was just like I had to grow up very quickly, and so yeah, life be life. So I just really, for me, I experienced a lot at a young age, but when I got ready to go to college, I'm gonna be honest, like it wasn't really a choice. Which isn't that crazy? Your parents be having all these expectations, and they really ain't never do shit.
Then my family, you got to go to college. I was like, okay.
I was like, but y'all didn't go. But anyway, so they did always have high expectations.
That's what they was told. They never got to experience it, so it had to be the best option for us.
Yeah, so I went really because I was like, I'm not gonna stay at home. Everyone else is going to school. I was really smart, so like, why not? But I didn't have, again, all of the knowledge of like, don't take out all them damn loans, don't do this, don't do that. So I went out there. I went out for success, raw dog. I raw dog my whole career. Like I learned
off them Pell Grants.
Yeah, I learned learned how to survive like just by hands-on experience, frankly. When my mom, I was in the 6th grade, so like had to learn how to cook by myself. Like she would tell me what to do, but she couldn't show me. It was just, I had to learn a lot on my own. And so with my career, wanting to be a social worker, it really frankly was like, I was like, oh, there's a career where you can literally help people make better decisions with their lives, or if they have an unfortunate card of life dealt to them, you can help them navigate that. Yeah. I didn't even know that social work was like a real career. I was just like, oh, that's dope. So that's how I majored in social work. And then afterwards, I've like worked in probably every sector, mostly with homelessness, like just a real jigsaw puzzle ass career. Like none of it really made sense, but I really just went into it because I wanted to help
intentional
people.
You went into a field where you actually wanted to help, and it wasn't just convenient.
Yeah, and people said you ain't gonna make no money as a social worker, and they weren't lying. They weren't lying.
By the way,
they weren't lying. You know what I'm saying? But for me, I was like, I have a hustle spirit. I'm gonna figure out how to get in. Like I wanted to do something that I wanted to do and that I was passionate about. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get in. And then I'm gonna figure out like what's the hustle in this. Like what else is it to do? How can I be my own social work? Like I didn't know what it was, but I just figured I would work my way up to the top.
Right.
I didn't want to be discouraged by the income. Because again, I've seen our family make it off very little. Now I didn't want to be no struggle bus,
but you know it can be done.
But I was like, well, with a degree and with like, I knew my mindset. I knew I wasn't gonna be over there struggling, and I got a whole degree. So I was like, I'm gonna do it. And so I went into social work, and then I did a lot of nonprofit work, and I just felt like, okay, they right. Making no money, so I need to figure out like what else was the other potentials. Then I worked in a lot of nonprofits, and then I was like, okay, be honest, I need to probably get into corporate America or into working for profit and figure out like where the bag at. And so I ended up changing my career. Well, in complete transparency, because I probably would have been one of those social workers that just had 2 or 3, 4 jobs just because I did what I did and I
know a
loved
few
it.
of those, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But what really happened is that this is so crazy too. After my dad passed, the organization I worked for an organization that had a housing program, came back from vacation, and one of my clients had committed suicide, and I found her. She had hung herself.
What?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm going to exit stage left. Because that, I mean.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just like, that's not. And it was a black young woman. She wasn't that much older than me. And it just.
Folks think that black women don't commit suicide.
It F my head up. And so of course I had to take a leave of absence, and then it was just a lot. And I was like, you know what? It's time for a change. Because again, I really loved helping people, but I had been going back and forth with like, I need to do something that's more lucrative, but maybe I'll just do something on the side, or, I was trying to justify like, because I really did love what I did. And then that was when it was like, yeah.
Ain't no way.
So I knew I couldn't go back there. Mm-hmm. And where I was at, I was making decent money for where I was at in my career. It wasn't a lot of other different opportunities. So I was like, I had just finished my master's. I wasn't going back to school. So I was like, okay, I got to figure something else out. And so thankfully, I mean, got a little mouthpiece on me. So I remember I started working at the Dallas Regional Chamber, and I had gone through a lot of leadership programs because usually I was like the only black girl or the youngest person. So I worked for a predominantly white organization in Grapevine. And I would be in these leadership groups and be the youngest or, the only black. And I was like, oh, the chamber has a leadership program opening to manage the programs. And I was like, hell, I've done a few of these.
Why not?
They gonna train me. I'm gonna tell them I can know what I'm doing. They gonna train me. Long that resume. But anyway, I mean, I told them the truth, but I had never managed leadership programs. That wasn't even my degree. And so, but I was like, I've gone through several programs. I'm from Dallas. And then you just started calling people out. I'm like, I don't see any people of color.
When you say that, they gotta stop and think about it. Because if you say no, are you really for diversity and inclusion? If you turn me down,
yes, I was real smart real early. I just started looking at the situation, and I was like, your leadership programs are predominantly white. It's probably because you don't have any people of color leading. I was just being honest, and I didn't even know what I was talking about back then.
But the thing is, I'm gonna just say this, y'all. A lot of them don't be knowing what they talking about. They just have the language.
So I just was like, I've gone through leadership programs. I listen. So they hired me, and so so that changed my career to leadership development. So then I just started telling people what they needed to do to advance in their careers and to be a leader. And I was like, shit, I've been leading my whole life.
Honestly.
And that I was like, I'm a Dallas native. The Dallas Regional Chamber is responsible for helping grow the economy and, making Dallas the best place to work, live, and play. That was like our little elevator pitch. I still remember. But so I bought in, tapped into all of the language that they were using.
You drank the Kool-Aid?
And but I was like, yeah, you don't have, at the time when I started, I was managing the Young Professionals program. So these are individuals under 40 that are high achieving in their organization, and their companies are investing in them to go through this leadership program to advance their career or to develop more leadership skills. And so, yeah, I was like, you don't have anyone young running the program, and they need someone relatable.
Yeah.
And also, there's not a lot of people of color, and hi, I'm a colored woman.
Hella colored, okay.
So, and then, had my little silk press back then. So they was like, oh, shit, she a little...
They love a smart black woman with a silk press.
A little smart.
They love a black woman, a smart black woman with a silk press.
And she's from Oak Cliff. So
yeah, you love Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
You don't play about Oak Cliff.
Yeah, I do not, because it's so many negative stigmas. It really is not as bad as people that be like, y'all, I low key, and I'm from like 75216. Like I'm from... And people hate when I say this, but I'm from like the real Oak Cliff, because some people be in the corner.
Okay, so I've heard people say that before. Yeah. Like there's two different Oak Cliffs. So to transplants that move here, and I hear folks saying that, like, what's the difference?
Well, I have to explain mine, because I won't discount anyone else, because shit, there'll be people up here shooting up in here. They'll find where we at. But I'm just gonna qualify my area of Oak Cliff and say I'm from South Oak Cliff, 75216, Langston Keys. So we're literally around the corner from SOC. So that's central Oak Cliff.
Okay.
And then some people get further out and they just like using the language and still claim it.
So it's bougie.
It's not.
Almost suburban.
It's not. But you do have some, because what people don't know is that Oak Cliff had been predominantly white. And so,
I didn't know that.
A lot of places that are now gentrified and now black communities were white at first. Like there were a lot of black people in North Dallas, and they ain't like that. So I say this all the time, and I grew up in the hood. Like I never feared for my life back then, because one, we all knew each other. Like our grandmothers owned their homes, and so you weren't gonna be disrespect. Like at least not on my block. And I lived around the corner from like where shit would go down, but like we could leave our doors unlocked.
It's always personal. Yeah, them beefs are typically personal.
We wasn't. That's why when people try to paint this whole narrative of like, even outsiders like, oh my gosh, you're from a club. I'm like, yeah, but like I can't say I ain't seen no shit, but like I feel like I had a very safe, nice. I love where I'm from. If I could afford the housing market right now, I move right on back to Oak Cliff. But the way the market's set up, But yeah, so anyway, they just love this whole narrative of this young black girl from the hood
making a change. She speaks well.
She speaks so, and
you're articulate.
I hate that.
You're so articulate.
You speak well. What do you?
Your silk press.
What? How did you expect me to speak? The fuck? People still do that, and I be like, actually, I really don't speak that well. Like, I still don't know how to put some of the verbs.
I guess they be thinking like they need you. You ain't got that strong twang.
Yeah, but I be like, I still can't speak some stuff correctly. Like my language really still ain't up there. But
we can put you in front of people.
Yeah, and so I got hired. So that was my second career. So my first career was a traditional social worker. Literally have done everything from domestic violence to at-risk youth to mental health, and most of it was working with the unsheltered population. Until again I found someone that could, and I don't know that a lot of people know that part. I think when it happened I shared, but yeah, that's been like 10 years now. But that was probably what really did, on top of like I did know that I needed to. I think the way I usually explain my career change is that I did know a lot about nonprofits and I wanted to learn more about for-profit in corporate America, and that changed my career. But it really was because I found that woman up in there dead, and she wrote me a note.
Oh, she wrote you a note?
Yes.
Not her family.
No, girl, she wrote me a note.
How close were y'all?
She wrote a few notes.
Okay.
I wasn't the only one. But the note that she wrote to me was thanking me for everything I had done. And, if I'm supposed to be sharing all this, but it was 10 years. It got to be statute of limitations somewhere.
It's somewhere.
But she was also my sorority sister. Didn't know that when she joined joined the program, obviously. Not that would have changed anything, but like on paper, so thinking about us, like college degrees, looking like we've made it. She had more degrees than me. She had had made way more money than me. And I just had a mental illness and could not keep a job. And again, the type of jobs that she had, she was already making six figures. And back then, I probably was making $30,000, $40,000, like for real. And I don't know what she was diagnosed with, but because of her mental illness, couldn't keep a job. So she had entered our housing program, and then she was good for a while. I didn't even know she had a mental illness. I thought she was literally there because she had just fell on hard times and didn't have the funds to finance and stay in stable housing. So she was there short term for her to get on her feet. That's what I thought. So anyway, the letter was just like, thank you for everything that you've done. You were really instrumental in helping me grow. But then it went on to say, I'm sorry that I couldn't be everything that you and the organization felt like the potential that I had, that I never met those expectations. I was like, damn. So I had a lot of guilt. I was like, damn, did I pressure her too much? Because like in the program, you would have to meet with your case manager to talk about your goals. And like they had 3 months to be there. So we would, talk about, so I had a lot of guilt initially. I was like, did I pressure this woman too much? Did I make this one? But she was very complimentary in her letter to me and said that I always like helped her. But that it was one line in there where she just said, I'm sorry that I wasn't able to be everything that I think I probably still have this letter that you and the organization wanted me to be. I couldn't reach that potential or something like that. And it was very, generalized, but I took that personally.
Because you just described what everybody assumes to be the black girl magic American dream.
If I would have seen her on paper, I would have been like, I want to be like
AKA
that.
high performing, multiple degrees.
Yep.
That's in our community, that's considered the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
She should be happy.
Yeah.
That's black excellence.
Yeah.
Struggling.
Yeah. So I had a lot of guilt. I was like, okay, did I pressure her too much, or did I was I not, how did I not see these signs? I questioned my whole career. I was like, I had worked in mental health before. That wasn't what my role was there. So I wasn't over there diagnosing people. She had a counselor. She had been going to counseling. So I just thought she was good. And she put on a really good face, which a lot of us do. So I had no idea. And I was on vacation when she did it. So I didn't see any signs leading up because I wasn't there a few days before she had done it. But I had talked to the people that was there, and they were like, yeah, her car was in the shop. I dropped her off I took her to drop her car off at the shop. She was in good spirits. So I'm like,
which
what?
they usually are, as I've learned before, because they made up their mind.
Girl, I had no. So the note took me out, and I had a lot of guilt. I for a while blamed myself or thought I could have done more. So yeah, the career change was necessary, but in essence, it was because I did need to find a way to advance my career and not become stagnant. And then that was definitely like, okay, it's time. But yeah, I guess that's something that a lot of people probably don't know unless they knew me then, that happened, and that was really like you got to change. So so that was my first career, social worker. Second career was being a director of leadership programs, and then insert the pandemic. No one was investing in leadership development. Y'all, I got laid off on my day off.
Not Friday.
Wait. I can't tell people I got fired on my day off, so now I change and say I got laid off on my day off. But yeah, they fired me. But man. But I had been there for 4 years. I had been promoted. Now I had started working with young professionals. By the time I left, I was working with executive women. So the top women in Dallas you would have to be the top ranked woman at your company, and the company had to make X amount of money. Usually, I don't remember. I think it was $15 million. Oh. And then for nonprofits, it's less than that. Not the person, but the company had to have that much revenue. So these are top executive women. I think I saw one black woman in this program while I was there. I think it's a lot more now. I don't know. But so I started working with young professionals all the way to these high achieving women, and albeit they didn't look like me. Right. I think that's when I was like, okay, man, I gotta figure out how to go even further, because I'm like, this ain't right. Like, why ain't none of us up in here? But that's where my network grew, as far as working with high powered people and growing a network, and honestly learning the game of how it works.
Moving and shaking.
So I networked a lot. I've had a lot of backlash in my own community because, they call it the white chamber.
Oh, wait a minute.
People call the regional chamber the white chamber around here. And,
okay.
So I got a lot of black organizations, I'll just be honest, in Dallas that a lot of young professionals will be a part of. You know how like you have all these networking groups and professional groups. Yes. And I would attend a lot of them, but because my job was to host most of those similar type events for my job, I couldn't be in everybody's black group.
Right.
And I've heard people say I'm not black enough. I'm like the blackest person.
Oh, here we go. It's almost when people can't put you in the box that they want you to, and they can't use you for whatever their purposes are. They got to label you something to make themselves feel good about the fact that they can't have access to you in the way that they feel entitled to. That is crazy to me.
For me, it wasn't even about access, because I'm like the most down to earth person. It's just that, sometimes our people are worse.
they
just be on one. I'll be like, how you mad at me for doing my job? This is my job. So anyway.
How you mad for me keeping my lights out?
So that was my second career. And then, like I said, I was laid off because no one was investing in professional development. But I never forget, we were working remotely because we were working from home. I had called in sick.
Sometimes you gotta do that. Call in black, sick, whatever. It's all the same.
And they were like, yeah, we just need one quick call with you. And I'm like, okay. I know I hadn't done anything wrong. Like I said, I had been promoted while I've been there. I was kind of like one of the token Negroes. So I wasn't really.
Gotta love being a token.
Yeah, I wasn't like. I was like, I ain't done nothing. So what's up? But I do think that, and it's funny because I don't know that anyone would ever admit it at the organization, but I do think that I challenged a lot of the things that were in place.
You said the C word. And you know what happens. Your job is to be grateful for the opportunity. What do you mean challenge? This is a perfect environment for you to blossom. Like, we're giving you an opportunity to be a part of our family.
But this was after George Floyd was murdered. So
girl, get the fuck out of here. Y'all getting called to the carpet. I think when it was time for layoffs, again, it did make sense because people weren't investing in professional development, but I think it became an easier decision because I was the black girl. I was no longer the young black girl that was like, oh, this is great, I'm so happy to be here. The palatable Negro.
Yeah, now I'm up there at the table like, so what we doing? And they like,
oh, they don't like that.
So, and no one to this day will ever admit that, because I sit on boards at the chamber, on one board at the chamber now, and our the president and CEO, we have a meeting with him at my new job at the top of the year whenever his assistant get back to me. But the point is, like, ain't no beef, but looking back at it, I'm like, they probably laid my ass off because you was up in there asking all these questions, which is fine by me. Like, at that point in my career, I was fine with, like, nah, we ain't finna just turn a blind eye at certain stuff, because I was never that girl. That's why when people on the outside would look and be like, oh, she worked for the white chamber, or she's not black enough, I'm like, you don't know what I'm asking or doing.
What tables you are shaking.
Yeah. Shook my ass up out of a job.
Shook my ass up out of direct deposit. What are we talking about?
I'm not foolish enough to be all up on social media acting a damn fool, but there were, to this day, I feel like, that was probably why I was no longer there. Again, no one would ever admit that. I've had opportunities with the chamber since I've left, so no beef. And for me, it was probably it probably was the best thing that could have happened, because I was at the chamber, I had advanced. I probably could have got another promotion, but it wasn't really a lot of room to navigate to do something that I felt like I still wanted to be. I'm a people's person. I love people. I love helping the communities, especially that look like me and from where I'm from. And in that role where I was at, it just wasn't. It was, we do a little community service day here or there. It just wasn't enough. And so, outside of my sorority and anything else I could do to volunteer to feel fulfilled, I was running myself to death. That was back then when I was saying yes to everything. Right. So I'm working hard for the man. Then I'm over here trying to be in the black community more, because y'all over here talking about I ain't black enough. So I'm over here trying to do that.
Not you, not the tug of war.
Bitch, I was tired. It was a lot. So I was like, I really want a career that I feel like every day I go, I may not make a difference every day, but that's the goal. That's the intention of the role. Right. And if I can get paid to make a difference, that's what I want to do. And I didn't know what that looked like. I never said I wanted to be a vice president. I never thought I'd be working for sports. Hell, I
was going to say, how much did you keep up with women's basketball?
I didn't. No lie, so.
Like, how does one fall into that career?
And that's not something I am proud of. Everybody go support them damn women. I'm looking at y'all. Go support them women. But
y'all really need to support women's basketball.
Yeah. But again, frankly, like, I would buy tickets and donate them. I wasn't, outside of being an obnoxious Cowboy fan, like, I like sports, but I wasn't like, I love sports enough to be, but it doesn't matter. You still should go support women basketball.
You should definitely support women basketball.
But I wasn't. But I met the Dallas Wings executive team when I worked at the regional chamber. 1 year prior to me being laid off, we were at their offices because they were members of the chamber, and we were trying to convince them to renew their membership, which they didn't. Assholes.
So they didn't renew, but
they did renew. But 1 year later, so I think that what happened, it's crazy because my job was never posted. It wasn't a job. My role didn't exist before me. So
they created a role for you.
Not for me. They created a role, and they knew what type of person that they wanted. And so,
girl, same difference. They created a role for you, but go ahead, be humble.
The president had someone in mind, I believe. Again, because I didn't even know. That's that's how naive I was. Like, I'm like, I know I wanted to do something where I'm helping people. I said I knew I wanted to do something where I was helping people. I knew I wanted to increase my income because I didn't want to have to go get 2 or 3 jobs or go volunteer every day to feel. You know what I'm saying? So I knew I wanted a better salary. So I had a salary range in mind. I knew I wanted to help people every day, and I knew I wanted to be a decision maker. Those were like the 3 things. I was like, I want to go to work intentionally helping people to make an impact is what I said. I think I wrote this down. I want to make an impact. I want a increased salary range, and I had like a range in mind. And I want to be a decision maker. And that was all I knew. I didn't know what industry. I thought it would be corporate social responsibility. Like I'll go work for one of these major corporations because all of them at that time. Yeah, they do. They do. So I didn't want to, but I felt like that probably made the most sense because I never thought about sports and that they would have a role at an executive level of a person making decisions every day to help make an impact. And that just never crossed my mind. So because I got laid off, everybody, all the black people, and some of my white friends, I got a lot of white friends. I don't care. Y'all better diversify y'all friends. Cause
my closest is a Mexican in Wichita, Kansas, and a white country, but she ain't like trying to be, culture vulture white girl. She's a country corn-fed backwood in Joplin, Missouri.
But diversify your friends.
Yeah.
As long as they
get it.
Yeah. Period.
As long as they get it.
So everybody was sending me jobs because they were so mad at the chamber. I can't believe they had to lay off anyone. They didn't have to lay you off. And I was like, and at the time, I think I cried one time because I was like, hey, I'm gonna pay my damn bills.
That's the only
I've never
reason
been
you
unemployed.
Yeah.
I wasn't, because I knew that I did like my job. I love the connections that I made. I love going to the little fancy ass dinners and stuff. I ain't gonna lie. I love meeting high power people. All that struggle meals. We was having happy hours. We was having banquets and shit. I love that. I ain't gonna lie. I did. So I probably was very content. I was meeting.
You was comfortable.
I was meeting people and shit. I'll never forget Emmett Smith walked into our boardroom meeting. He
is the best speaker.
Girl, I was facilitating the meeting. I hadn't even been there that long, but everyone at the job knew I love the Cowboys. And he was on our board of directors, but like TD Jakes is on our board of directors. It was a lot of big people on our board of directors that I'm like, they don't ever come to the board meetings, so I may not ever meet them. So he was in the next room, and my boss knew how much I liked him, so I'm facilitating the meeting, and that motherfucker walked in, and I was like, I'm gonna lose my job today because I'm finna take this picture. Because they be like, you gotta be cool. You can't, be like a fan. I'm about to go take this. And so I had a lot of great experiences at the chamber that I otherwise would not have had. And so I think I was content. But so when I got laid off, I wasn't sad about being laid off. I was sad about where I'm gonna get my next check from. I had never been unemployed, so I didn't know you could get unemployment when they lay you off. Because I thought, I didn't know how it works. Shit, I didn't know.
I'm just learning about all this, y'all. We're going to talk about that in season 3. It's my first time being laid off.
But I'm going to tell you, it was also during the pandemic, and they was paying double or whatever. So my unemployment checks was more than my regular checks. So I wasn't mad.
Oh, Jesus.
I wasn't mad. I wasn't sad.
Beautiful time.
I wasn't sad or mad.
And me walking away from my career during the pandemic. Everybody getting laid off. I'm gonna move to Dallas.
But again, I also wasn't, because I felt like, once again, thankfully in a better way this time, I was kind of being forced to figure out, well, what is it you really want to do? Because you over here content and saying you want to do more, but you ain't doing nothing.
Preach a word.
You ain't doing nothing.
Preach a word.
So I was good. So people were sending me jobs. They were just so concerned about me. They were like, you're such a high achiever. You're so great. Anyone would be blessed to have you. That's what my white friends were saying. My black friends was like, bitch, you need a job. So people like, it was just, so people were sending me jobs. Some I was overqualified for. Some I was like, girl, I can't get that job. But they was like, I know somebody. People wanted me to work. I had a lot of great networks, which was, again, because of where I worked. And I was turning stuff down. I was turning down.
Your spirit knew this. If I get into this, I'm gonna get comfortable.
Yeah, I was like, And it was funny because I was like, you can't be unemployed too long. Now, this unemployment check is good, but I didn't know like when they gonna cut it. But that's the only time that I was like, that don't fit right. This is, and I had those 3 things again. Didn't have an industry. I wasn't trying to be too picky. The salary range was real. It was big because I was like, I don't even know if I can get to here, so let me start here.
Right.
So it wasn't unreasonable, but I was just like, yeah, no.
But you were turning down opportunities to make the main thing the main thing.
I love that. So one day, one of my friends who had been sending me all these jobs, I was like, girl, I love you, but she's very connected. So I was, every time she was saying, I was like, thank you so much. And she was a black girl, but way more connected in the other people's life. She was very, very, very connected. So she was sending me good stuff. So she sent me this one. It was a Word document. I'll never forget. She texted me, or a PDF or maybe something, but it didn't have the company on it. It just was a job description. And I'm reading it, and it was like a VP level. I was like, I've never been an executive before. And it just had all these different things that I was like, wow, this person would really have an opportunity to make a difference. They're a vice president, so obviously they're making decisions. It didn't have the salary on it, but I was like, well, I'm interested. She was like, if you're interested in learning more, I can connect you with someone. I was like, okay. Yeah. And I was like, do you know what company? She was like, I don't know, girl.
I just know that it's some shit out here and there's some money. And like you said, you wanted to make a change. This looks like change. So what we about to do?
So I told her to give the person my number. So what it was is that the CEO of the president and CEO of the Wings, he knew someone that he thought would be a good fit. She did live in Dallas, but she had relocated to Washington, which is where they are from. Okay. And so he was like, well, do you know anybody in DFW Metroplex that, fit what this would fit? And so she had just put it in her another leadership program she had went through in their group chat or group me or whatever, mass communication. And then that's how my friend found it. So she didn't even know me personally, the other girl. The other girl and I got on the phone, and she's not really interviewing me, but telling me about the role. Yeah. And I'm telling her my experience. And she was like, all right, I feel comfortable in recommending you. She was like, because 2 people gave me your name, actually. And I was like, oh, okay.
When your name good in these streets.
And I'm like, okay. And so finally I said, what organization is this? Because there was nothing. She was like, oh, it's the Dallas Wings. I said, the women's basketball team?
Not you saying it like that.
Because I'm like, bitch, I don't play I was like, baby. So I was like, well, listen here now. I don't know nothing about that. I was like, I support black women, and that's dope.
I support black women. But I don't know nothing about no free throws.
I said, girl, I don't be going to their games or nothing. And she was like, girl, and I was, Cookie, I tell you no lie, I was literally talking myself out of the job. I was like,
it sounded like you was trying to get out of it.
I don't know nothing about basketball. And then I started going back through the stuff we had already talked about, and I was like, then they gonna be leading DEI. Like I ain't never let. And she was like, listen. She said, I'm gonna tell you this, it's a lot of stuff that people don't know when they start on these jobs. She was like, one, this role has never existed, so they don't know what you don't know.
So you're making it your own, essentially.
Like, that's what she said. She said, you're coming in to start this department. And I was like, yeah. Then that shit started sounding scary. I was like, oh. She said, just talk to him. So she was talking me. She
was talking you into taking the job.
Yeah, and I'm like, so she was like, I'm just going to refer you. You got to do the rest. She was like, so if it don't work, it don't work. Maybe you go through the interview process and you really do feel like you can't do it or don't want to do it, or maybe they feel like you're not the one. She was like, but just, and I'm like, okay.
That's so funny.
And so went through the screening process with HR. That was like, I think that was like 2 different rounds, and then I didn't know, but they were playing in the bubble, which we call the bubble. They were in Florida, so she was like, well, if you're selected, then the president will be in touch with you directly or himself. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't realize, because they were playing in Florida in the bubble at that time, that he was occupied, so I didn't hear back for like weeks. And I was like, well, I just went on to the next thing. Then this person called me, I'm like, shit, okay. So we did 2 virtual interviews. Then he asked me, can I come to, because I started in September 2020, but this is like, let's just say July, because it took forever for me I went through a lot to get the job. So I'm like, we in the thick of the pandemic. He was like, can I meet at a coffee shop too? And I was like, no, they probably really want to see if you're a really refined Negro or not. So
they're trying to see.
I think he wanted to see me in person.
A street Negro? She a boardroom Negro?
Because I'm like, bro, we
Is
didn't
it
been
giving
on.
ghetto?
I'm like, we been on Zooms. We did like, I didn't talk to
What more you need?
I didn't talk HR twice. I didn't talk to you twice. So we met in person.
Trying to see if you got table manners.
He brought another vice president there. And I'm like, bruh, what? So
what more you need?
So we do that, and then come back, and they asked me to do a presentation because I'm starting this department. Essentially, I was going to be responsible for starting a foundation, like all this stuff. So they were like, "Well, we want to know what would be your game plan." Because I done learned this shit before. One time I did not get a job, and they told me that I was like the best candidate, this, and this, but they needed someone with more experience. They were just, what I presented to them sounded great, but they weren't sure if I could actually do it because I had never done that. This was a while back. It was one of my social work roles, and what I felt like I did, because what I ended up seeing as I continue to follow that organization, the person that they hired was implementing some of the ideas that I had shared during the presentation that I was required to do during my interview process.
Hold on.
Yeah. So what I had learned from that experience is you don't give them too much. So when I told them, I said, I'm happy to do a presentation. And I said, this is how it's going to go. I was like,
you better learn from your, well, I don't want to say mistakes.
No, that was
But every interview, you got to start looking at interviews that way. Like,
Yeah.
what are you getting out of me if you don't select me?
So I was like, this is my intellectual property, so I will not be able to share anything in writing.
Talk about the intellectual property. Let folks know in these kind of interviews. This is important.
Because they got to know that you know what you're talking about, or act like you know what you're talking about until you know what you're talking about. Google some shit. I don't care. Find some key notes. Make yourself sound smart. But that was something, again, that I had experienced. So I was like, I would do a presentation. I cannot provide you with the information from said presentation. So I would encourage you to take notes. And that's what it was. It wasn't I'm emailing you this presentation afterwards so you can
Ladies
go
and
copy
gentlemen,
paste.
a boss that ain't about to be played. What Prince say? Somebody that tries to play me plays himself.
Like, I'm about to finna copy and paste my shit. So we
my God.
did the presentation. I kept it very high level still. I talked through what I was going to do versus having all this shit on the slides. And I did not send a presentation afterwards. There's nothing to review. If you have questions, call me.
Wait, I love this. I think you might be helping some people here because when most people go into these kind of higher level interviews, they ask a whole lot of specific questions. How would you handle? What's your experience? Not realizing they might just get that information and go on to somebody else, and they just collecting enough
especially
data.
when they want presentations and stuff. They gonna use, if they like it, they may not like you, or they may like other candidates better. Maybe it's not you, but maybe you're just not the person. But if they like something you said, they gonna get it information to the person they hired. Trust me.
That is a wicked, I mean, I don't want to call it wicked, but it's the game out here.
Smart.
People need to know.
So I was like, if there's additional questions, you can contact me via email or phone. And I was very thorough in said presentation. So if they was smart, they could have wrote it in. But I did say we're not recording this.
How do you start? Do you kick it off saying like, yo, this is my intellectual property? Like, how do you bring that?
Well, when they asked for the presentation, I asked, what are you expecting? And they pretty much left it up to me to craft this presentation however I wanted to.
Yeah.
And so that's when I knew they don't know what they're doing. They want me to figure all this out for
You
them.
want me to baby you?
You want me to, like, you really want me to figure all this out. So, I just said I'd feel more comfortable with me sharing, because I think what they wanted me to do is to prepare a presentation and send it to them, not present it to them. We're not doing it.
Because they can easily take it and say, thank you. We appreciate you taking the time out to apply for the position. We've decided to go with another candidate.
So what I said is that
no,
I am happy to present my ideas. It is my intellectual property, and I think that I can speak to it better than you reading it. And so I would like the opportunity to present it to you. And so when they agreed to that, when we started, I said, I'm unable to send this to you afterwards. So if you have any questions, I would suggest taking notes. And then if you have any questions, I'm happy to follow up.
It's such a boss response.
We not finna play.
I'm not giving you my shit.
Basically.
And I got to see my stuff 10 years down the road.
Yeah, it's not, because we didn't, because that wasn't even in the interview plan that we doing all this. So I'm like, so y'all just coming up with stuff at this point. So after that process, then, and this is something, oversharing, I don't care. But the last process, and I was like, I guess this is what executives do. I had drinks with my boss and his wife. And so I guess I was
they wanted to see how you vibe. They want to see if you get along with the wife.
Yeah, at his home. So, yeah.
So we're getting a sneak peek into what goes on at the high level.
Yeah.
Little people don't see out. They ain't get invited to nobody's house.
And so another VP came with me, and she lived in Dallas, and so we carpool. She picked me up, and we went out there together. And I think she was just trying to gauge. And she was like, "I think they really like you in this." And I'm letting her talk. I ain't doing. I'm talking, but I ain't telling her nothing I don't want repeated. Because I'm like, how I know they ain't asked her to try to figure out what's going.
You really be thinking like somebody that's from the streets. This is why you have to have. I'm saying you have to have a combination of book and street smarts. Thousand degrees don't mean nothing if you don't know how to move and shake.
He was like, X lives near you. You guys both live in Dallas, and how about you both come out here? And she said she'd pick you up, and I'm like, great, because hell, I don't want to drive all the way to your house. No way. You live 40 minutes from me, so I don't care. Shit. So I was like, sure. And all the way there, she was like, I've heard nothing but great comments about you. I think you're a shoe-in. And she was just real comfortable. And to this day, actually, I learned she just very chatty and oversharing because she don't know nothing.
That's just who she is.
She ain't even there no more. But I feel I wasn't going to reciprocate that. I wasn't going to be like, well, yeah, I want to be here. But, I was just like,
you've learned a certain level of the importance of having a poker face.
Mm-hmm. And then we over here drinking wine, and I'm going to drink 2 glasses because you can't not drink because then they find it disrespectful. Mm-hmm. But we're not finna you ain't finna have me trying to see if I can hold my liquor because number 1, I drink you down. But number 2, that's not the place at the time.
So many careers have ended over drinking with their superiors and getting sloppy and just oversharing. Yeah. They want to know the information.
Because the person that took me there, she was just, she probably had about a bottle and a half by herself. And I was like, baby, you got to drive me back home.
What is going on? Where's the water?
And to this day, we know her as the person. Now, sports and entertainment is different. It is a lot of entertainment going on. So it technically probably not is, in my opinion, it's still inappropriate, especially when you're trying to get the job. But you're not going to never find me out on another, like, one, I know how to hold my, but we're not doing that. So, but it was really funny because like at the end, it was just supposed to be a casual conversation, but I could tell it was a social interview. Social interview. Yeah, those are what those are. I had never experienced that though. I was like, this is interesting. I don't think they would invite me. I knew at that point that I was likely going to get the job, or it was between likely me and another person, and this was probably like the last thing.
Last thing.
I was like, you ain't inviting no nigga to your house like this.
No, you're definitely not.
And so at the end, because we were just really talking to get to know each other better. Again, I think a social interview. And then at the end, he was just like, well, thank you for coming out here. And he was like, it's, between you and another candidate. He was like, but what I can guarantee you is that I am going to make a decision. I think he gave me a date by the end of the following week or something like that. And his wife said, well, no one else has been to our home. In other words, like, wrap this shit up.
She like, I'm tired of this process. I like her. Just, the wife plays a major role in a lot of these decisions, just so y'all know.
You do. They do at that level when you're working as much as we work with their husbands.
Because you're going to have my man more than I am. So I got to like you.
And that's my perspective. I could be wrong, but I'm right.
No, it is.
So from there, I was like, we good. I'm good. And so I started working on my negotiation skills. I had never negotiated before. So this is my 3rd career. So, Cookie, I tell people it's a jigsaw puzzle of a career, but I had to first let go of what wasn't for me because that's why I wasn't getting where I needed to go.
You got to keep saying that part because I don't think folks get that.
Yeah, you have to. Because it's too much baggage. Bag lady.
But fear. You talk about that whole how I'm going to pay these bills. So how do you get past the how I'm going to pay these bills to I'm not accepting anything less than what is in alignment with my goals?
Yeah. I'm going to be completely honest. Had I not been laid off and still had some level of income enough to take care of myself, I probably would still be struggling to just let go and let God. I probably would. But I do think and everyone is not a person of faith. I'm not over here trying to convert nobody, although faith has taken me.
This audience is.
Listen, faith has taken me where I am. So that for me, that's it. But it's just like you got to trust the process. And for me, it's faith. But again, I did not have that much faith because I was like, I believe, but I got to be.
It's a little scary.
Look, as long as I'm in this safety zone, and you don't grow in a safety zone.
Okay.
You don't.
The getting uncomfortable.
Ugh, I hate it.
The getting uncomfortable, because we don't want to discuss that. Everybody's just clinging on to whatever they can.
I hate it.
But being miserable every day.
Yeah.
I had to say to myself, like, you've been in sales for X amount of time. You've never been happy in that.
Yeah.
It was the safe space to go where there's always going to be money.
Yeah.
But even with the world we live in, you still ain't making the money you need.
Right. And then you stressed out, bogged down. So when you get to your next grade, you can't even perform like you need to because you done gave all these other jobs and roles.
All of it.
All of you. Because we would be working.
You know when you're done.
Yeah.
You know when you're done.
So, yeah. So that's how that came. It wasn't anything that I looked for. It was a referral, actually a couple of referrals. But what also had happened though, to go back to when we had met with the executive team of the Wings 1 year prior, so in that first interview with the president, I didn't know if he remembered me, but I made sure I told him. And I went back, and I used to keep cards and different stuff, and I went back to my old notebook and 1 year prior, the notes from that meeting, and I had written down, I usually write down who I'm in meetings with, and sometimes if I have cards, and people don't really keep cards that much anymore, but I write down who was in that meeting. I do that all the time. And so when I was in that interview, in case he did not remember me or associated me with the chamber, I was just like, yeah, I remember meeting with you, Greg. And I started calling out all the other people.
Ooh, the first name.
Yep.
That first name gonna do it.
Yep. And so because of my role with the chamber, they knew that I had a robust, probably book of business and network. And I had met with them previously, so there was some level of comfort. But ultimately, someone had referred me, and frankly, had she not kind of talked me into me talking myself out of a job, that's what I tell people. Stop telling these jobs what you can't do. That's not what they asking you. That's not what they asked you, because I was over there like, oh, girl, I can't do that. And I don't know that I would have done that with the people that were interviewing me, but I was overly honest with her. And she was like, girl, don't say that.
That's my problem. I be saying stuff that I ain't got no business saying.
Same. So, you go into, I tell people, go into these interviews, interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you. And so I was very, and at that point too, because I didn't have a job and I didn't really know if that was the job for me at the time, I was a little cocky with it too. But this is something that I'm learning. You have to be, because again, George Floyd had been murdered. A lot of these organizations were making diversity hires, and I was just like, is this a result of you all wanting to diversify your executive team? I noticed that there's no black women on your executive team. So I was the first black woman to ever be hired on their executive team. And so I brought that to their attention, and that was concerning to me, and if they could share why.
It's so crazy when we're in a state now where black women are taking their power back and asking the questions. Because this is not what we were taught to do. A lot of us were not taught. We were taught to be grateful for the opportunity. Yeah. I know I was always told it ain't that many of us in there. Yeah. So if you get in here, like, don't fuck it up. Yeah. You're trained to not fuck it up.
Yeah. But my thing at that point, I had nothing to lose. I didn't have
got nothing
so
to
it
lose.
Wasn't mine. So I was just like,
come on now.
Shit, they gonna hire me, they not. And so, we had some very honest, difficult conversations. The good news though, although I wasn't just being completely honest, I didn't really follow women's basketball. I was very familiar with the WNBA, because particularly when everything started happening around race riots and just everything that's being televised that hadn't been in prior years. And now I can say it because I work for the organization and I know it now and I have all the stats or whatever. But the WNBA were doing protests and boycotting playing way before the NBA, definitely NFL.
Oh, no. The women black women especially, always lead the charge. I need y'all to go ahead and just admit that shit.
When I realized that it was 80% of the players are black. They look like me. They're young. They're younger than me. And so they need someone that looks like them, that authentically cares about them, that can speak to issues that they have been through or will go through.
Amen.
And so it just made sense for me. So once I learned about the role, I was actually excited about, or the organization, I was excited about it. But I was very honest. I was like, yeah, I don't know what y'all got going on.
I don't know.
So tell me
what you need me. What's the goal here?
What's the
goal here?
That's kind of how. And so what would your expectations be? What
that E word.
What's I was interviewing them as much as they interviewed me. I knew in this role it would be a lot of work and a lot of expectations. I knew they weren't gonna play with my ass. And they don't play with us. We don't get chance after chance. So I had to go in with knowing what I was getting myself into.
I was saying, how was the pressure of being in this role? This is a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, it's challenging. Again, that was the first time I had thought to negotiate for myself. And the first time I was telling people what I wasn't going to accept. And I was just like, oh, shit. So I did walk into that like, man, this a big girl job.
You kick the doors down for whoever comes after you, though.
Yeah. And so that's how I look at it. I look at it, there are a lot of expectations. And so I think I said this in my keynote. I always initially, the younger me, it was like a badge of honor, like, oh, I'm the first, or I'm the youngest, or I'm the only. And then I'm like, this is some bullshit.
It is.
Why?
Being the first really ain't all it's cracked up to be. Most people don't know that.
Yeah, that's definitely not. I knew that would be hard, but then I was just like, I don't want to be excited about being the first or the only. So I was less concerned about. I knew being the first was going to be hard, but even if I wasn't the first black woman, just being the first person in that role was going to be hard.
Right.
But being the only bothered me. Like, this shit made my itch ass. I was like, why? One, because I need to be in the office and see somebody that look like me.
Right.
And not play basketball. You know what I'm saying? I know there's going to be a lot of black women on the court, but there were no other black women in the boardroom, and that bothered me.
It impacts how you show up, your comfort level.
Well, I'm tired of them looking at me, looking at them, going off on them. Because, see, that was another thing that I had learned.
You the topic of conversation.
Yeah, from matriculating through these career paths, I have learned not to be silent, but that's why I wanted to be a decision maker, because now I'm able to not just be in here complaining. I'm complaining because this impacts the decisions that I need to make to be effective in my role.
Yeah.
So what we gonna do about it?
It's exhausting.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you what we gonna do about it. So
what we gonna do? I got it.
Yeah.
You have to take notes.
And then I have in this role the authority to make those changes. I just never wanted to be, but it's hard because you can't make everyone happy, and it's exhausting because you still feel like you're fighting a damn battle all the time.
How do you deal with not making everybody happy? You're used to being somebody that looks out for everybody, that fixes everything, that overextends yourself. So how do you deal with that in this space?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard because people have so many expectations of you. I'm like, where are those same expectations of yourself?
Ooh.
Because I know what I'm doing and what I have done and what I intend to continue to do. But what you doing? Because you don't have to be a VP. You don't have to work in this role to make a difference or to advocate for others or to care so much for our people. So I think I'm starting to learn. I haven't learned this or mastered this yet, but take a little bit of pressure off of me, because most of the time when you're not making people happy, the people that are unhappy are the people that are not doing shit. So I'd be like,
ain't that crazy?
I'd be like, why are you so concerned about? Because that bothered me for a long time of honestly not always feeling accepted by our people. I just be like,
ain't that so crazy? You knock down all these doors and you try to get in this position to give us opportunities, and it's us that's like,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's stuff that I probably could have done differently, navigated differently. And I tell people all the time, like, because I see some people that are my age, even younger, that are really black advocates that are doing the dang thing, and maybe that's their role. That's not because what I had to. And it's no excuse, but like, I didn't have parents that went to school. I didn't, like, some of these people, they knew they was going to HBCUs when they were 2 months. Well, I didn't even know what HBCU stood for until I got in college. I was like, damn, I would have loved to have gone to a black college. Now, I probably wouldn't have graduated because I would have been out there partying because I wasn't focused enough. I didn't have parents that went to school that said, my mama, my first semester, I don't even know why them people let me come back the second semester. So my mama was like, what's your grades looking like? She didn't know. So I told her, I said, oh, you don't get grades at the end of the semester. They give it to me at the end of the year. Because I couldn't show him because
they never experienced it. So what they going to do, argue with you?
So, like, when I see some young black people that I feel like are so woke, when we used to say that all the time, I'm like, damn, why I didn't know, why I wasn't advocating and why I wasn't, pro-black all of my life. And I was like, well, for me, one, I grew up around all black people, so I was always, it was
you black.
You know what I'm saying? But, like, some people are so again, I used to be compared to, like, oh, you do a lot with, like, it used to be frowned upon that I worked at the white chamber. And I'd be like, baby, let me tell you something.
Who's paying me, right? I think who keeping these lights on? And
it's like, so again, I think I have learned to not put as much pressure on me and or compare myself to what other people are doing.
I was going to say, what does accountability to community look like for you, for the culture, when people have these expectations? At what point do you go, okay, I could have did better with XYZ, and oh no, y'all playing right now.
Yeah, so I just don't worry about what other people are doing anymore and do what I know I'm doing. So I just had, it's so funny, my best friend and I talking, we were talking about parenting, I'm not a parent, but you know, without sharing what her concerns were about her, but what I was sharing with her is that, like, I'm not a parent, but I have 18 million thousand nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews, and just have been around a lot of different parents in, you know, close periphery where I can see how they parent and decisions that they make. And I'm like, you know, you never know. It's so easy to judge other people and what they're doing and how they make decisions. So the best thing to do is to ask yourself, have I done the best that I can with what I know to do? Because if you don't know, you can't do what you don't know. Am I doing things that are at the best interest of, in this case, it was the kids, but in my case, the community. And that's all I can do. Like, if I know I'm doing the best that I can do, I'm doing things that are in the best interest of the community that I love and serve, then why am I trying to compare myself to Jane Doe may want to be the president of NAACP.
That don't mean you want that. People try to select what you should be doing. Every role ain't for everybody.
People want me to get in politics. People want me to. I'm like, that ain't for me. That ain't for me. That ain't for me. There's a lot of things that I'm good at, and people think that I can do or want that for me. I'm like, no, that ain't for me, sis. It's not for me. So I do a lot of self-reflection. And then sometimes I'm like, you can do more. And then sometimes it's like, you're doing the best you can.
But you said it. Are you doing it? I think the thing is, some people don't want to do it. So it's better to push somebody else. Like, well, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And they ain't done an inch of that within their capabilities. Or they doing everything.
And that's good. That's your calling. That's good, sis.
Focus on your call. Don't make your calling my calling.
I'm happy for you. We need somebody like you.
I wish you all the best, sis.
Like, we're not doing this. So I've as I mature, stop giving a damn about what people think as much.
I was gonna say, my question is, what would folks seeing you in all these leadership roles, what would they be surprised to know about you?
Oh man, that's a good one. Well, people that know me or get to know me, like, I'm really so down to earth, they probably are surprised that I'm in the role that I'm in, because they be like, you put up with that all the time, every day, because I don't code switch. I have, you know, in younger years when I wasn't making decisions. And
a VP that don't code switch.
Yeah, no.
I'll be damned.
I wear this to work. I wear the rest of the police, the kill Breonna Taylor shirts. Where I be in there. I'm pro-black. I'm black, and I love all things black. Now, in that, I still have to do things that are in the best interest of other marginalized communities. That's the thing with me.
I mean, that's what it is, though.
And that's what I think sometimes some people in our community, when they see me, like, I'm going to advocate and go as hard. But for me, I can speak more authentically about being black, being a black woman. There are just certain things, like, I can speak about having drug addicted parents, whereas you may not be able to, so you may not be as adamant about it. So why are you mad at me? Because I'm not as adamant about something you are adamant about. But, for me, especially in my role, I am just really about equity. Now, again, I can speak to the black community more. And so even in my role and in the boardroom and in front of my board members, hell, in interviews, I'm always going to talk about where I'm from.
She really do, but she was like, I said, this got to be the pride of Oak Cliff right here.
That's never gonna slide through. I'll be bringing a map to work. This is Oak Cliff, and this is
Oak Cliff.
So I have a lot of pride in where I'm from and who I am and what I represent, but I'm always about equity. And so we sometimes think we can't be for everyone and still for us, and that's untrue.
That's not true.
And I'm okay with people that disagree with that. That's fine.
If we understood how a lot of folks' deliberations are tied to ours.
Exactly.
There are so many things that are intertwined. I think the sooner we, realize that's how we strengthen any fight, to be honest with you.
I think the biggest thing is just knowing I can't be everything to all people. And so
it's real simple.
And that takes, but when you're younger, you do want kind of that validation. That was one of my flaws, is wanting to be
validation.
Mm-hmm. Everybody like you, girl. Listen, fuck.
If everybody like you, first of all, if everybody like you, you ain't doing something right.
Right.
There's no way.
Right.
Somebody lying.
Right.
You ain't
'Cause
walking in
not
your
you
authentic.
all the time. You somebody else when you get around so
You the villain to somebody.
yeah.
I don't care how nice you are, how much you try to represent. You're the villain to some. Some people do not like you. You challenge people. Their discomfort level is just it. It raises around you, and they don't rock with you.
Yeah. Now, what I have learned to do, and I've had to just because of different roles, not even particularly the one I'm in now, because I've been able to be really myself because, again, the players that I represent, the WNBA is super progressive and pro-black and pro-women. So I really haven't had to do that in this role. But, you know, it's really weird, though, because when in other places, I have had to just say, like, listen, this is what it is. This is what I'm about. And you have to take it or leave it. I don't know how that makes you feel.
Right.
But yeah, I think, you know, there are other groups that I have to advocate for, which is harder because I don't know all of their issues and I don't pretend to know everybody's issues.
Right.
But I do think that, you know, some people can find it challenging and hard to believe that you can advocate for other groups and still be authentically who you are and what you do. Because, again, especially in my role, that's my job. And that doesn't make me any less black. Like, I go to the LGBTQ parade in my dashiki. Like,
there's black people forget that black people are in different marginalized groups.
Yeah.
There are black people that are in multiple marginalized
and
groups.
It's okay if it's not, because for me, it's about, I know how I or my marginalized group feel, and for us to have allies or to have people to support us.
Allyship is important.
I can appreciate that. So who am I to not do that for others?
But you know how the black community is about the LGBT. If there is anybody y'all are against, and it's crazy because you don't even know how you hurting your own people.
Yeah, yeah. It's
half
weird.
of y'all be gay.
It's
you just be in the closet. That's why you really be mad, because it's getting one step closer to home. We ain't gonna do that today.
Ooh.
That's what you really be mad about, and I just need you to just be yourself.
Girl, you hurt somebody's feelings.
Y'all be mad because they be knowing y'all secrets.
They be too mad.
Like,
why you that mad?
First of all, you gay. Because one of them told me. Now you can keep playing this game where you can just play nice. We know what this is really about.
Oh, Jesus.
Live in your truth.
Please. It will set you free.
It will.
It will.
Well, all of this, I mean, your plate like overflows.
Oh, we trying to.
How do you find these? Where does the balance come in at? What does that even look like for you?
Yeah, you know, we talk about this in the professional world a lot when I'm on a lot of podcasts. The favorite question to ask is like, what is work-life balance? It's one of the questions that I'd be like, I know this motherfucker coming.
We got it.
But, and this is my perspective. This is not true for everyone. Some people really do believe and practice a good balance and boundaries. I'm not there yet. I'm just being honest. I'm not. And again, that was because at one point I was trying to be everything to everyone. I didn't say no a lot. So I'm getting out of that. But especially in the type of work that I do, but there are so many different careers that are way busier than mine. But ours is ongoing all the time. Right. So I always say I don't really have professionally. Now I have balance in other areas, but professionally I don't have like a work-life balance because my world's professionally and personally mesh a lot, but I prioritize. So, like, I'm going to prioritize me as much as I prioritize my job. And, again, there hasn't always been that. But, yeah, work-life balance, I'm not, I guess I'm just not good in that area, so I'm not going to disqualify
that's an honest
people.
Ass response.
I'm not going to disqualify people that say that. But what I'm saying is, like, when you talk about work-life, I look at it as I just prioritize things in the categories in the order that they should be. And that's how I balance it.
So do the best you can.
Yeah, it's not really like a good. I don't know how people, and it can be done, but just shut off certain. Like, I'm not doing this today. I'm just gonna.
I don't.
That's
know how
great.
Do
I
it.
don't know how to. I don't know how to do it.
It's the phone. Like, if you can just take the phone and throw this bitch.
Yeah. So mine is just about prioritizing. Like, okay, your ass is on damn near on E, so we need to prioritize that, and work needs to go a little bit lower, like right now.
Work can go lower.
Yeah. Or your relationships, like, okay, you haven't been a good friend or a good, so let me put a little bit more energy into this. So I just try to stay. I really do try and again, this is one of those things you got to try to work on because you can't be everything to everybody, but I just try to just check in on like all the areas of my life and am I putting enough energy into each of those areas that are important to me.
But your friends get it though, right? Like somebody having a friend like you, they don't take things too personal.
Well, they don't have to tell me if they do. I mean, girl, when I say this meet my face all the time, I mean, like, cause I just don't understand how you that mad that I'm doing me. So no, I don't have friends be on that bullshit. Like, girl, we're not doing this.
I'm gonna sit you in this corner.
No, my friends are usually like trying to check on me and make sure I'm not overworking myself, especially like this year.
So they get it.
Yeah. Cause girl, I'm not finna explain to nobody, especially not nobody that ain't taking care of me, that I'm busy. Girl.
It's such another side. One thing I learned this year is that when you start prioritizing yourself, it makes people uncomfortable that are used to you being in the role of cheerleader. It's a very uncomfortable space for them because they're like, now what the hell you mean you ain't gonna drop what you doing and be here and just come hang out and X, Y. They don't know what to do with the shift.
Well, see, it's also about who and what type of people you hang around.
Okay.
Because none of my friends have that much time to be worried about, that much idle time to be worried about why we ain't been out shooting the shit. Because guess what? They're out reaching goals or taking care of their families. I'm probably I do have some other single friends, but like most of them have families but they're literally out bossing too. So
that's just okay. So you speaking to the fact that why it's good to be around a circle of bosses.
Girl, yeah,
what's understood ain't gotta be explained.
I ain't got nothing to do all the time. That's none of my friends. None of them.
I did see that you had like kind of shouted out your invisible husband.
That motherfucking invisible. I don't know where he at. He lost. I don't have the tracking number. I don't know what happened.
Y'all said y'all was sending a new batch.
And they lost. Where they go?
I mean, it's the holiday. You know, them packages get lost. They, might have been Temu. The package gonna be a while. You said Faith.
Girl. I don't know.
Is it hard for you in this role? I don't give a damn. Is it hard for you in this role to date? Like, how does a man, like, man, she the VP?
Well, it's not that. Most men assume that I'm already engaged in some type of relationship.
I can see that.
They just be assuming. And/or they disrespectful as fuck. They married. They already...
Baby, the dating pool got dookie in it because the married folks won't stay out of it.
Like, if you go mind your married business...
How are you this comfortable?
Disrespectful.
How are you this comfortable? You're not worried about getting caught. This is a lifestyle.
I'm talking about in writing.
Not the receipts.
But the receipts. And the tag still on. It's real disrespectful. They're disrespectful, sis. So
the Target tag, I've noticed. Like, not you trying to hide her.
Yeah.
Or you ain't hiding at all.
No. So, yeah, either the assumption is, they think I'm in a relationship. They're likely surprised if I'm not. Or, again, like, I have no problem attracting people or, like, starting something, but it's
the quality?
The quality is shit.
You get the Shein dudes.
Not even that, because sometimes it be some good shit on Shein.
Yeah, it's true.
So, no, it'd be the recycle bin.
The dirty one.
You know the ones that be in those parking lots where
on the corner, like somebody you could just dump and you just got to go.
So people can do anything in that mug because ain't nobody even checking.
Your boo got dookie stains on it.
Yeah, it be the shit that you can't even drop off at the Salvation Army because they don't take it.
And one would think, people typically think that women, especially black women at higher levels, have a bigger pool to choose from because of what you of what you have access to.
No, they're married and disgusting. Yeah, no, I get, I again have no problem with attracting, but this is also what happens. It is the story of my life. If I hear it again, I'm shooting at somebody in the throat. Oh my gosh, you're just such a perfect woman. Like, I mean, they pull it all out.
The spiel.
And then it's just like, the timing isn't right, or I don't want to play with you, or I don't.
So
please don't play with me, because please don't. Because don't do that.
Because some girls respond to that like, well, what do you mean? Some people will fight.
No, please don't play with me. Please don't do that. Don't do that. But
just stop talking. Cut the show.
But it's like what I've learned is that men like to, because girl, I can't figure it out. So this is really a good conversation. But what I have found is like people will, at least what I have found, like guys, I think when they realize like, oh, she ain't with the shit and she gonna really hold me accountable, my feet to the fire and this and that, then they start backpedaling. So like I tell guys when we start doing whatever, like I just need consistency, communication, consideration. Let's start with those.
Come on, triple C's.
Let's start with those.
Come on, ebook.
And so, come on, workbook. But then when that motherfucker when he realized he can't keep up with what he started, the consistency, that first C, that be gone.
Man, consistency is so important.
And that's important to me. Don't start something that you can't continue. So when I say it ain't even a trial period, sis. I ain't got 30 days.
It's that 3-day.
It be like the flag ain't even red yet. That bitch be like a little orange with a little tint. It don't even be red all the way. I see a flag. It's just because what I don't have is time to waste.
No.
I do not. But it's actually sad though, because one, my tolerance is lower, so I don't have the patience for it. But people like to play with your time.
They do.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll date and then it'll just be like, I don't want to waste your time. You did.
You did. And you knew you did. And now you want me to chase you.
You did.
And now you want me to chase you.
You did. Or my old relationships, now they be like, damn.
You know they're trying to spin the block.
All the time. So girl, and what I can't, won't, will not. But yeah, the block is hot.
The block is hot.
I was about to say the block is hot. But it's just no real potential.
I've been out here. I've seen it.
It's no real. It's disturbing.
But the funny thing is, the more disturbing it is, it does help you. One thing I notice is that when I do away with the bullshit, I'm able to focus more on my goals. Yeah. So it's like, okay, there's beauty in this. Ain't nobody clapped my cheeks in a minute. Yeah. I've not had my kidneys flipped in some time.
Unfortunately,
I might as well be a virgin, but basically, ain't nobody stressing me out. I ain't on live looking crazy. My wig sliding.
That part. So, ultimately,
they'll take you out of yourself.
I really, I desire companionship, relationship, love, all of the things. What I will not do is compromise. Again, even in with work, same thing. I be up in there doing the same. I'm definitely not about to play with you. You ain't even paying me. At least my job, I know I'm going to get a direct deposit for the bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
You might ask me to split the bill.
So it's discouraging though. It is. But yeah, a lot of times, a lot of men think that I'm in a relationship or they're in a relationship or just still care about me so much that they want me to indulge in the relationship with them.
It should have been you.
Yeah. So it's real. So yeah, my husband invisible.
He out here.
He is.
He is out here. Come on, King.
Come on.
Claim your shit.
Cause truth is I'm tired.
Truth is she tired. Options is few and
no options.
Options.
I don't
Just don't change the word.
Girl. That's a whole
we gonna speak him up. He coming. He's somewhere. Maybe he's not in Dallas.
That's what my ex
slide
was
through
out
here.
of state. It was a long distance relationship and it was really great. It was my best relationship.
See?
Yeah.
So it wasn't him, but it's gonna be somebody. So what do you feel like the way you've been so intentional about your life and career? What do you see for yourself in the future? Do you see this is the long haul? Do you have other ideas and things you want to bring to fruition? What is ultimately at this point? What's the goal for yourself? What's the legacy?
And this is no shade to any organization or company because I do think some people have found their way in their, whether it's corporate America or whatever industry it is, of just being able to work their way up and being happy with that. And I'm going to retire and this is secured money. And I love that for them. I love my job. It's very rewarding. I never in a million years thought I'd work in sports. But I also feel like I have an obligation to pour into others. That's just who I am. That's how my career started, right? And so ultimately, and who knows, maybe it can be done in conjunction with my current role and I continue to work my way up. And because I do think it's important for those young black women that are playing basketball because their careers are so much shorter than men. So they're really young. All of my players are so much younger than me. I think the oldest one is 31 one. And I'd be like, girl, you're a baby. I mean, and she's considered a vet. Like, she's old. You know what I'm saying? So I do find myself in some form or fashion as an opportunity to mentor informally to them. And whenever I have opportunity, I'm always telling them the real and preaching to them of what their obligation is to use their platform for good. And that's great. And I really get a lot of fulfillment in that. And so I do think that there's more for me to do, maybe even long term in my current role or in some form or fashion of it. But I have spent a lot of my career unconsciously, one, helping build corporations and businesses, making them better.
Sounds about right.
Would never own them bitches. So,
nope.
You know, so that troubles my soul.
As it should.
You know, when I was younger, that was just like, you're just working. You just do good things. But when I think especially particularly in this role where I have I've built this role in this department, that was the other thing. Like, I was able to create my own title. I was able to say, this is, you know, the roadmap of what we're doing. Being a decision maker, I'm able to do that. So now I'm just like, this is great, but this is all to ensure that the company is successful.
You said it.
And so, yeah, that's probably not going to be me forever. Now, again, because it is rewarding, but what I'm always trying not to do, especially now, is what I've done before, is become too comfortable or content. So it's like, this is rewarding and this is good. And I'm actually, like, right now, I'm uncomfortable because I'm still growing and learning. Okay. Like, this is, I just finished my 3rd season, so I'm going into my 4th season. So I'm still learning a lot about sports. Every time I turn around, I'm like, this some more shit. Wait a minute. Like, I didn't know we do this too. Because, like, this past year was the first time we went to the playoffs ever in our franchise. So then I didn't know, shit, you can potentially still be playing 2 months after the regular season. And I was like, shit, wait a minute. I started playing the vacations. So my point is, like, I'm still uncomfortable because I'm still learning a lot. And then I've build our foundation from the ground up, and so that's like my baby, and I really want to see that become more sustainable and grow and be my legacy work. Like, I want to be an old woman, whether it's with my invisible husband, kids, and then we had grandkids, and be like, Granny started that foundation, and then people, you know what I'm saying? So I really want to see what I've started with this organization, the seeds that I've sown, and I want to reap the benefits of that and see that be really fruitful for our communities, because what we do with the foundation all goes back to our community. So there are some goals and really a lot of work that I really think can still be done under my role and opportunities to grow. But ultimately, yeah, I don't want to contribute just to the success of an individual or a company or a business anymore. So if I can do that in addition to building my own personal brand, that would be to help others navigate their careers, because as you can see, my ass didn't defaulted through success all kind of way. I just call it a jigsaw puzzle. Right. You know, people say experience is the best teacher, but I don't think that everyone has to experience every failure, there are ways to prevent going through hardships all the time. Now, you're going to have to get it how you live. Like, some things are inevitable, and that's okay. But I really do think that I have a great opportunity, specifically with women of color, to educate them based off my skills, experiences, and failures. So I like to say I failed forward a lot. And so, in helping them with their career navigation and leadership development, because those are 2 things that I've not mastered, but I have done enough well, and continue to learn. And so I also like to say, like, continue to be a lifelong learner. And so in that, I think that would help me to continue to grow and want to learn as I try to help others navigate their careers. Because what happens is, either people are trying to figure out when they get out of college what to do with this degree that I done paid all this money for, and ain't nobody really trying to tell me how to get a job. Right. So you have those. Then you have these mid-level or these kind of stunted growth, like where I was at for a long time, of not knowing how to get to the next level. Then you have some people that are like, I know I have the potential to get to the next level like I knew, but I don't know how to get there. So you have that. And then you have executives that are literally still trying to refine themselves and cope with, especially if you're a Black woman, how to be the best you and version of you and true you, and be still a boss and be an executive. And so all of that to say, ultimately, I would like to do consulting and career navigation and leadership development.
Helping everybody boss up. Now tell everybody, first of all, tell everybody how to find you.
I really need to pray about making my page on private.
Or not. Look, you do what you want around here. Look, I had somebody go. No, somebody told me one day. Somebody sat here and said, Don't find me.
You can find me, but it's just like, am I going to accept you?
I mean, you know what it is she does. Come support the games.
I was going to say, I really want to see y'all at Dallas Swings game. My first game is May the 14th. But no, I just changed my IG name because I was like, I really need to start building this brand. Y'all brand strategists and influencers and things. Y'all be having brands.
Y'all be doing too much.
And I haven't been intentional about that, but I do think that there's an opportunity. I'm not so much worried about building a brand or even monetizing. However, there's money to be made now, hell. Because I promise you this, and y'all can go to my LinkedIn. My LinkedIn is really do be popping. So for the professional bosses and the women that are or men, because I have also coached men. I started this thing during the pandemic, LD's mentoring moments, and I would just say, hey, if you're looking for career tips or you want some advice, I've done a lot of different things in my career, just hit me up. And people would just hit my inbox up. And so during the pandemic, I started doing LD's mentoring moments. I need to bring that back, but
I think you should bring that back.
But the reiteration of that, once a consulting company is alive and well, kicking. I'm glad I said that out loud today, because I've been telling people I'm gonna hold myself accountable to that in 24. But then people pay a lot of money for executive coaching, for all kind of stuff.
There are people that don't have nearly your experience and background charging buku money.
And I hate to say this, someone told me, and it's true, and I'm gonna
hold
just
up.
say
You still ain't told nobody this damn LinkedIn.
Oh, so
it's
LinkedIn,
you skipping around it.
I'm sorry. LinkedIn is just LaDondra Wilson. It's just LaDondra Wilson.
Okay.
On IG, you can LD.
She's like, can I give it dog?
No, LinkedIn is LaDondra Wilson. IG is LD Lees, because that's what I'm going to be doing and talking about leadership development.
She's going to vet you, though.
But yeah, you're going to be vetted in the waiting room, because I be forgetting this request there. Shit.
Talk about keeping your space, being intentional about your space. More people should, though.
So I got to figure out if I want to be separate, but I'm still an open book, so I don't have a separate life. Yeah. But, some things this is for my people.
You need something for yourself, and I think you should be protective of your space, because it's evil out here.
I protect my space and my peace. So,
people think they got to have everybody following them. You actually don't. So let me
request me, because some people are following you just to learn more about you, to have negative things to say. I was going to say, don't come over here with that. So
how do you deal with that?
Don't come over here with your opinions. You don't get paid for it.
You ain't even got to be here.
You don't have to. You can exit at any time.
At any time,
so
but you don't want
to.
My
page isn't open, because I just be like, for why?
That's rare. Not everybody wants the follows, but then when you look through, it's like, you're not really here for me. You just here for, I don't know what the fuck you here for.
I have so many requests, but I'd be like, I don't even know how I know them. And then I'd be like, damn.
No mutuals.
How am I supposed to? So again, that's why I don't know.
You do the work.
If I am trying to build a brand per se, I am really ultimately interested in building a business that will help people navigate this crazy world to be fulfilled in their careers. So outside of making money, because that's what we all need to do.
You just want to be of service.
Yeah. And again, I need to monetize it, and so that may require having more. You
could probably move different with that, because a lot of people want to be brand strategy. They want the title.
Yeah,
social media thing, but they don't be really helping motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I meant to say it.
You did.
Y'all get a bunch of followers, and now it's like, I'm gonna teach you how to do this, but they don't.
Yeah.
They ain't got no bones behind them.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so never mind.
But again, LD
support the league.
You can get on there. But yes, please support the WNBA. We start again May 14th. Play at UTA. The women are dope. They really are. But dope on the court, off the court. I have the great privilege of working with them on all of their appearances outside of media interviews and stuff like that. But the real stuff that they do in the community and things that are important to them. And so that is very fulfilling. An
intentional boss, it trickles down to the players.
Yeah. It's dope though. They're most, and that's what most people don't, because you got to think about it. These are players that are not making as much as their male counterparts. I mean, we could talk about
no,
that
they're
all
not.
night.
They're not.
And so they're doing this because of their passion and love of the game. And then many of them are, again, working directly with me to make an impact in this community with very little resources. And so that's to be applauded because they don't have to, because they don't
have it.
You know what I'm saying? And so when they're doing this because they're passionate about it, and that's what my job is to find out what all of our players are interested in, what they're passionate about. When they don't know, because some of them so young, they're not thinking about that. They're just focused on their craft. And what I have to make sure they understand is that, you may or may not be bouncing this ball for long. There's only 144 players in the WNBA, and I don't know how many are in the NBA, but like a NFL roster is like 50-some people. We only have 12 people on our roster. So you don't, you're competing to keep your spot every damn day, essentially. Yeah. And so I tell them, while in basketball is important, it just can't be your end all be all. And what is your legacy? And so I tell them that, and so that's why I have to make sure I'm following and creating my own.
We love an intentional Black woman that's intentional in her leadership with a game plan. Well, LD, thank you so much for coming on and giving me your story.
That's so fun.
Blessing the people. But y'all, you know how to find her, and you know that you'll get dated. But whatever we got going on right now, because I still don't know, it changes. Wear your mask, wash your hands, socially distance, and when you get a free moment, please remember to clean out your dirty bag. Till next time.
Well, darling, there's only one God. Darling, there's only